Hello everyone. I know it's been a long time coming and that a lot of other people have done the responses to the 36 stupid questions that feminists have for men. But hey, what can I tell you? Just because everybody else has slept with isn't going to stop me sleeping with also.
How does it feel to be the same sex as Donald Trump?
I don't know. How does it feel to be the same sex as this? Or this? Or this?
Why do you hate rom-coms? Or do you just feel like you need to hate them?
Everybody likes The Notebook. Everybody likes Beyonce. It's just a fact.
See how feminists prefer to lie than tell the truth? I mean, jazz and blues enthusiasts wouldn't like Beyonce. Metalheads certainly wouldn't like Beyonce. Most accomplished musicians wouldn't like Beyonce purely because she doesn't really play anything. A lot of people wouldn't like Beyonce purely because of her feminist postulations. And a lot of people don't like Beyonce because if she weren't surrounded by stacks of talented people, she wouldn't sound like fucking anything. And the reason men don't really go for romantic comedies, or rom-com as you guys say in Orwellian newspeak, is because there actually isn't any real chemistry between Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan. You might want to objectify Ryan Gosling, but we don't. And in romantic comedies, quite frankly, shit doesn't blow up.
Guys don't look at explosions. They blow things up and then walk away.
Why do you make women sit around and talk about men in movies
When y'all easily just sit around and talk about boobs for hours.
I really don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Men don't sit around and talk about boobs for hours. In fact, the very limited amount of time that men do talk about women's breasts is not in the presence of women anyway. So what the fuck would you know?
Why do you automatically assume that you won't like TV or movies that star a female lead?
Yes, well again you're wrong, because I'm happy to watch anything with Kate Beckinsale in it. If the truth be known, I actually think women are better actors than men. And that goes for real life situations as well.
Why are you surprised when women are funny?
Because if it were commonplace, it wouldn't be surprising.
I'm probably funnier than you.
Well, you saying that is comical, but probably not in the way that you imagine.
Why do you think that we're obsessed with you when we hook up?
We don't. You're just perhaps imagining things that aren't real. Again.
9 times out of 10, I just want you to leave too. I'm busy. I got shit to do.
Have you had issues with men telling you to fuck off after the sex is over, have you? Look, I'll let you in on a little secret about men. They're happy for you to hang around after sex if you're saying something that's worth listening to.
Why can't I sleep with as many people as I want to without being judged?
Well, I'll let you in on another little secret about men. We're actually quite happy for you to be easy to sleep with because it's less effort for us. It's only when you're supposed to be betrothed to us as a partner that it becomes a bit of an issue. As far as being judged for it, well, you better go and speak to other women about that one.
When men do it, they're congratulated.
Why do you consider a woman a tease if she doesn't sleep with you after 3 dates, but a slut if she sleeps with you on the first date?
Why would you even hang around for 3 days? I thought you said you had other shit to do.
In what world does no mean yeah?
In your world, because in our world, no means no and yes means yes. Because we're not the ones that go around saying, oh, I only said yes because I felt pressured, which is just an admission that you said yes when you meant to say no.
Why do you say that women are too emotional to be leaders?
Because most, not all, but most women are too emotional to be good leaders.
Then justify catcalling by saying men just can't control themselves.
We don't say that. You say that.
Why do you think that just because you're nice to me, I owe you my body?
Because your idea of me being nice to you is buying you drinks all night. Oh, and paying for dinner, of course. And for the last 4 hours, you've been giving me the, if you buy me another drink, I might let you sleep with me look. You're only saying that now because you realise that my wallet is empty. And what was the other reason? Oh yeah, you're a manipulative cunt.
Why would you ever send an unsolicited dick pic?
I wouldn't, but it wasn't me that you gave your mobile phone number out to. It was the sort of person who would send you an unsolicited dick pic. You're just a really shit judge of character.
Why do you feel like it's okay to harass women or make offensive comments about women, but when somebody does it to your sister, it's not okay?
Well, you don't know my family very well. In my family, it's my sisters that make all the offensive comments.
How does it feel to interrupt me when I'm in the middle of making a point?
It feels deeply satisfying because you make fucking stupid points. But to be honest, I don't do it for the satisfaction. I do it to minimise the embarrassment that you cause me in front of my friends.
Why do you have to sit with your legs so wide open?
Because I've got testicles, duh. But don't worry, I'm not going to ask you why you wear a bra. I can see why you wear a bra. But in the name of equality, I'm happy to not give a fuck about your biological needs either. What do you think?
I get that you have balls, but I don't stand around with my arms wide open to make room for my boobs.
Well, it's probably got something to do with the fact that your boobs are on your chest and not between your fucking arms, you idiot. But for you to even say that makes one thing very crystal clear. Count your breasts. There you go, you've worked out your IQ.
Why are women perceived as the weaker sex?
Because you are. Want me to show you? Let's arm wrestle. Better yet, let's throw a ball. I want to see if you can throw like a man.
Even though we literally birth you, like watermelons, through like this.
You really want to prove how strong you are? Hold it in.
Why is it so bad to show your emotion?
Because in a lot of women, it's usually accompanied by a total loss of rationale.
It means you're human.
No, it doesn't, because many animals within the animal kingdom show emotion as well. Therefore, showing emotion doesn't show your humanity, it just shows your emotion.
Why are you always trying to prove your masculinity to me?
Because if I don't, you complain that I'm not man enough.
Why the isn't it ladylike to cuss? When did words get gendered?
Swearing became gendered a long time ago because women found it offensive and disrespectful. If feminists want to contribute to women's lack of dignity, knock yourselves out.
Why is it your first instinct to doubt women who have been sexually violated or raped?
Because of the amount of women that haven't been sexually violated or raped, but said they were and then were found out to be lying. If no women had ever lied about it, there would never be any reason to doubt them. Therefore, any question of veracity as to the testimony of women has been wholly and solely created by other women.
Why do you assume a woman's angry because she's on her period?
I'm not assuming anything, it's self-evident. You will even tell me that you're angry because you're on your period, so I don't have to assume it. Or you'll throw something at me because you're on your period, so I don't have to assume it.
Why do you think women that wear makeup are false advertising? We can say the same thing about your dick size.
What? What the fuck are you talking about? I don't even get how those two things relate. I mean, that sounds to me like the biggest non sequitur ever uttered. I mean, I'm sitting here trying to answer each and every one of these questions, and I'm trying to think, how do I actually approach that one? And all I can think to say is, look, when I spend $120 worth of makeup to make my cock look nicer, let me know.
Why isn't it weird that there's a bunch of old white men sitting in a room making legislation about what I can and can't do with my body?
I'm going to figure that you're talking about abortion there. Firstly, it isn't just old white men that debate that issue, you fucking racist. Now, abortion's a really complex issue, and I'm not going to pass judgment or opinion one way or the other. Part of me is pro-life, and part of me is pro-choice. But what I can tell you with certainty is, it isn't just all about you. Only up until very recent human history did you even have a choice. If you got pregnant, you were going to have a baby. If you choose to terminate that baby, you choose to terminate what would have been a human life. You can argue all you like about at what stage in a pregnancy a human life becomes a human life. But to my mind, that's actually irrelevant. It is the choice you make that determines whether that life will come into being or not. I can accept that it's not disgusting that you have an abortion, even though it is actually legalised murder. What's disgusting is you being so fucking blasé and self-interested about it.
Do you have a coochie?
Ooh, I like that one. The question that's meant to completely invalidate you as a human being by virtue of the fact that you don't have a vagina. Imagine if the roles were reversed. Imagine you're a woman standing in a group of people, men and women, and you're about to say something, or you're halfway through saying something, and a man stops you and says, "Do you have a dick?" as a way of conveying to you that you're not worth listening to. I wonder if at all you'd find that sexist. Even just a little bit.
Why are straight guys so obsessed with lesbians?
We're not. We actually couldn't give a flying fuck about lesbians. They're not available to us, so they're not even on the radar. And that's no problem, because there's still plenty of straight women out there. Now, I think I've mentioned this in a previous video, but I'll mention it again. There's only ever been a couple of instances where I've seen lesbian porn, but I'm also yet to see any lesbian porn that didn't have some sort of phallic-shaped object going on in it.
How does it feel to get kicked in the balls?
It's probably something like, in women, the most intense ovarian pain that you can imagine. So painful that you can't stand, so painful that you can barely breathe. But I don't know, it's just something that I don't think about happening to women. Probably because I'm not a sick fuck.
Do you ever get tired of trying to be manly all the time?
Did you ever think of maybe trimming it down to 35 questions and making it one question less painful so that you wouldn't have to ask a question that you already fucking asked?
Why are you so afraid of gender equality?
We're not afraid of gender equality. You are. And the reason you're afraid of gender equality is because you don't actually understand the meaning of the term. Because in your lying infantile minds, you think female supremacy is gender equality. And the reason you can't see it is because you're so utterly shrouded in privilege. That's right, you emanate everything that you accuse men of.
Why do I deserve to be paid less than you?
Because you don't work as hard as I do, and you don't put yourself in as much danger as what I do, and you don't get as fucking dirty as what I do.
In what world does 77 cents equal $1?
In your world, you do 77 cents worth of work and you expect to get $1 for it.
In what world does 68 cents equal $1?
Again, in your world. In fact, in your world, 68 cents equals 77 cents.
Why are you intimidated by a woman who makes more money than you? That's awesome! More money!
For her to have, and for her to complain about that you don't make also. And it's not intimidating, it's just a big fucking yawn, listening to you brag about how much money you make all day.
Why are opinionated women seen as bitches?
Because sometimes those opinions are wrong, but those same women won't concede that those opinions are wrong. And then they'll get really aggressive if you try to point out that they're wrong. In other words, they start behaving like a bitch.
When opinionated men are seen as bosses.
Oh, that's strange, because 2 years ago you were complaining that women were referred to as bossy, and you even tried a ban bossy campaign to try and stop people referring to bossy women as bossy. A campaign which, of course, just brought you an enormous amount of ridicule.
Why aren't you speaking up when you hear your male friends behind closed doors make jokes that are offensive to women?
Because what we say behind closed doors is none of your fucking business, and because some of those jokes are pretty funny. Here, let me tell you a couple. Why do women do their hair at the traffic lights? Answer, because they've got no balls to scratch. If a woman goes into the forest and makes a sound and there isn't a man there to hear her, is she still wrong? Hey, do you want to hear a really funny joke? Women's rights. Did you hear the one about the guy that chatted up a woman in a nightclub? As they were about to leave together, she said, "Look, I better warn you, I'm on my menstrual cycle at the moment." And he said, "That's okay, I've got a van, you can throw it in the back."
Why are you so afraid of recognizing your own privilege? Doesn't mean you're a bad person.
And I can ask the exact same question of you.
Just recognize it and do something about it.
Fuck you. Yeah, fuck you. Hey, that's pretty catchy.